Hey guys, this is Kami Ken, and this is the first live stream of the year 2026. And yeah, I'm just ready to get started. I got my computer set up here. I got my screen set up, and let me go ahead and present my screen so I can show you guys what I'm working on with Saintly right now. So yeah, it's been a busy week just working and well actually yeah, going home for the holidays and chilling out with family and all that stuff. So yeah, and let me make sure that it is sharing and let me make sure that that is good. All right. So that's good to go. And if we move my screen, will that move? Awesome, it will. Dope. So, uh yeah, there's a lot to talk about today and just a lot to focus on in general for the coming year. Let me make sure all my settings are correct. Let me go ahead and get this music going. There we go. Background music. I can't remember which one I liked more. Was it lo-fi or let's see lo-fi. How loud is it? Let me turn it up. Okay. And we'll just make sure it's not too loud. Awesome. And yeah, I'll just be working on the coloring for Saintly, the first chapter. And it is supposed to be on, what do you call it? Webtoon. So, well, it's going to be on Webtoon. It's going to be on pretty much everything, every app that you can imagine for hosting comics, because that's one of those things that you want to do when you're producing a webcomic. You want to put it where everyone can see it. Anyone who's reading webcomics can see what you're making. Because if you don't, well, it's like selling a product only at one store in Kansas, and that's the only place it can be bought. That would make you kind of like more of a small business rather than like a syndicated uh comic or a syndicated vision business. Um, so yeah, I am currently just taking the time to put in the light and shadows where they're supposed to go um in the let me see, on the pages. Let me make sure that everything is visible. And I'm trying to see it. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I'm missing that that I might have forgotten to set up, but I think it's pretty much all here. I just need to close out that window and make sure that is okay. And I think, sorry, I got the sniffles. I don't like sniffing into the camera, into the microphone, because that's it just sounds disgusting. So yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna be working, and if we got any comments, we'll just talk to everybody in the chat there. Let me see. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. Okay. And then we'll make sure my camera is good. Oh, that's kind of what I wanted to do. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's what I was forgetting. And then I would say, hold on. It looks like nothing changed, and it kind of feels like nothing changed, but my light is now off in my room, so it's kind of got the full vibe now. One day I'll probably have something like playing in the background, like on my computer screen and my TV screen, so that there's a little bit more, I don't know, pizzazz or whatever to the background of whatever's going on here. But yeah, this is what we got for now, and I'm just glad we got this set up so I can actually show you what I'm drawing as I'm drawing it and not have to use my computer to do it because my computer is old. And old these days in terms of computers is, well, 2017. That's when I got this one. And it was going strong when I first had it, but now it's like on its last legs. At least that's what the people at Apple tell me. It's on its last legs and it always needs to be plugged into a computer, or it always needs to be plugged in to its charger, or it will just go out one day. Um it always needs to be plugged in or else it will just like turn off. So, yeah, I can't ever really take it out. I just leave it um where it is. So here we go. I think in this case, I'm still trying to figure out a nice, what would you call it? A nice coloring style for Saintly. Um Something that not only is quick to do but pretty to look at. Cuz right now I got like the same basic colors that I always use. I have a really pretty basic color sense. I learned how to color traditionally, and so all of the colors that I choose whenever I'm coloring anything is just pretty naturalistic colors. In terms of skin tone, in terms of shadows. In fact, I use the same purple shadows that I've always used because of this tutorial that I read from this creator called Fiuvix on DeviantArt, and they had a really very simple tutorial that when I learned how to color from that tutorial, I was like, "Oh, is this is it. Like this is top tier because it was actually getting me the same results as a lot of my favorite artists and whatnot. So using this method, I was just like, okay, that's just how I'm gonna color from now on. And it's not that I haven't tried to change it in any way. It's just that once you find something that works, you just don't really feel like changing it, and you stick with it. And if there ever comes a point where I have a chance to really change my art style and make it better, that's when I would try to experiment and do stuff with different like coloring styles, art styles, that kind of thing. But the way that comics works right now, or the way that comics works or has always worked, is that your art doesn't really matter. The art skill doesn't really matter if you're a web comic artist. And that's what I realized that I am. Like I am a web comic artist. I'm not a quote unquote webtoon artist. I'm not a manga creator. I'm not an indie creator necessarily like I technically am, but what I've always wanted to do and what I've always been is a web comic creator. I mean web comics in the most traditional sense, where you're just writing and drawing the story and posting up online for free. And when you have books to sell, or when you print out your books, you can sell them at conventions or you can sell them online. And that's what I've always wanted to do because I remember some of the best web comics I've ever read in the past were just like, I can't believe I'm getting all this for free. That's what it felt like when I was reading those comics. I was just like, yo, this is one of the best, most engaging stories that I've ever read. And it's online completely for free. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't believe I get this experience and nobody else is talking about it. Nobody else is uh like putting it out there or putting it online. And it's just like, I can't believe this is created by one person and it's this good. It's like I've read stuff that has gone beyond the level of, let's say, mainstream comics, maybe not in art style, but in storytelling, uh, with web comics, before the age of webtoons. And people are still making normal web comics these days. Like, um they're just using webtoons as a platform to also post. But yeah, normal web comics are still being produced these days. And yeah, just hold on. I'm gonna use a smoother pen, and I want to put anti-alias on that. There we go. Let's look at it. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so yeah, webcomics are still being produced today, and I always wanted to be a part of that because um, I wanted to give my kid self a free experience, an awesome free experience. Oh, yeah, I could add a line like that. That might make her ugly, though. I don't want to. Maybe if I don't have that per se, I'll see how that looks when I come back to the page. But um, I've always wanted to create a free experience for the reader so that they could enjoy it and and really feel the same thing that I felt when I was a kid, like reading uh all these new comics for free. So what have I read? Like what did I read in the past that was so engaging, so awesome, so experiential? I would say some of my favorite web comics ever that I was reading when I was a kid were the first one that comes to mind is Boxer Hockey by Tyson Hess. And I'm not sure if his last name is Hesse or Hess, but I always called him Hess in my mind. And he does stuff like Sonic Mania. He's done like animations, or he's done like storyboards for like a lot of Sonic stuff in the past and going forward. And he's done another comic called Diesel, and I remember getting that. I bought it recently, or I bought it like a few years ago, and I read that when it came out, when I was just a kid, like reading it in the library and stuff. And I was just like, oh wow, the next project from this creator. I really loved Boxer Hockey because it started off like it was just funny, like a comic strip type of thing, like just a funny comic strip type deal, and it was just interesting to look at. And I was just like, yeah, this is funny. And then it just kept getting better in the art. The art kept improving in leaps and bounds. And I was just like, yo, this is actually getting like more interesting to look at as time goes on. And then it's also getting funnier. And the art is just really heavily improving. I'm like, whoa, how is this even possible? Like, what are you doing over there, man? And that's the kind of stuff that can be created by one person who's just dedicated to drawing a comic that they really like, that they really enjoy. And I was just like, okay, so let me see more of this stuff that this creator has gotten. And then comes the curse of most webcomics and most webcomic creators is the webcomic stop updating and there was no pages. And you come back to it a month later and you're like, oh, there's nothing here. Come back to it 2 months later, oh, there's nothing here. Maybe you give it some time, you're like, okay, well, maybe if I pray to Jesus and wait for 3 months, or maybe even 6 months, I'll come back and it will have updated and I'll be happy again. And then you look it up, you see, and there's nothing there, and you're like, sorry. And then you're like, I am sad. I am truly sad because you realize like maybe the creator died or something, or he got a job at some animation studio and now he'll never come back to the comic because it's paying him. It's paying him well. And that's what happens to a lot of webcomic artists. And that's what happens to a lot of webcomic artists before they even become a webcomic artist, because a lot of aspiring webcomic artists just post little doodles of their characters online and have them in like interesting interactions and fun little jokes and maybe even kissing sometimes and whatnot. But then they're really just either letting out the steam of their actual comic page production, or uh, they're just not. They're spoiling, legitimately spoiling aspects of their story. that would have legitimately taken months to get up to if they actually went through with creating the whole story. And then by the time that they finally get enough energy to like feel like I think I'm gonna start my web comic now, they get scooped up by some animation studio and they end up doing that instead. And I'm like, yo, come on, bro. I wanted to read the comic, but now it's gone. Like it's never gonna come out anymore because the creator goes in and they get a job, and now they're just doing that instead of entertaining me with their with their amazing webcomic. And it'll usually be an art style that I really like, and I'm just like, man, I can't wait for this to turn into something cool. And then they keep teasing it, teasing it, teasing it, teasing it, and we're just like, oh, licking our chops, waiting for it to come out, and it's gonna be so super awesome when it comes out, and then it never comes out, and you're like, damn, damn it, fuck. And then you'll see a post on Twitter saying like, "Hey guys, I just got a job at this animation studio, at Nicktoons Animation Studio, and yeah, I've been waiting for this opportunity my whole life, and I can't wait. Sorry, the comic's never gonna come out, or it goes on indefinite hiatus. But you know, I got a job now, so I need to focus on that. And yeah, I guess screw you." I mean, it's never like a screw you type of thing. It's just like you got to do what needs to be done. But I mean, damn, like, bro, you made me, you were baiting me this whole time. Like you were fucking like edging me this entire time, and I never got the comic, man. Um, and what there was a creator named Mina Sundberg, probably one of the webcomic creators I respect the most out of everybody who creates webcomics, because I haven't even read her webcomics, but see, I go back to her page. Like I used to go back to her page a lot back in the day because I was just looking at like every page she uploads has 400 comments on the page, and it's like you can't even get that much dedication for a anime that's coming out in this season. Like that has been out for years. You can't even get that amount of dedication. Like it's 400 comments per every page, and she is uploading so consistently, so constantly. It's like every week is. It used to be that she was uploading 5 pages per week of her webcomic SSSS, or Stand Still, Stay Silent, and she had a webcomic before that called Red Tail's Dream. Um, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, that was just my practice webcomic," and that one was like, I don't know, 300 something some odd pages. And then she did SSSS, and um, that was her actual webcomic where she was actually trying, and try she did, because not only was the art fantastic on that comic, um, maybe the story was fantastic because I didn't read it, but I was just observing from afar. Um, but she had a dedicated fan base, and she was making money by selling the comic as well. It was just every week I would see it, and then the only reason she switched from 5 pages a week to 4 pages a week was because she was using that extra day to make a video game out of her comic. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, that's serious. Like, that's insane. I've never seen that before. I was like, oh man, I respect this artist so much. I respect this creator so much. And that's where the idea of the webcomic artist, or like the potential webcomic artist, letting out the steam of their story came from. Because in one of her videos, I think her her YouTube is called Humming Fluff Studios. In one of her videos, she was talking about how creators will post little snippets of their characters doing stuff or interacting, or just have a pretty drawing of their OCs, and um they'll be doing stuff or like interacting with each other. And she called that letting the steam out of the creation, because instead of using that time and energy and effort into actually creating a story, a sequence of events that'll lead to those specific moments that they're drawing in their sketchbook, uh they were letting out that energy of, I am trying to create a webcomic, and in little spurts of, I guess I'll just draw this moment that I was gonna do in chapter 3 or volume 3 of my webcomic. I'll just do it now and get the validation, or get the little hits, the likes from social media based on this little drawing that I did. And I was like, so that's what the phenomenon is like. That's what the idea she was getting at, was that you're letting the steam out of the creation. You're not creating the actual thing. You're just getting social media likes for teasing the thing, not actually making it. And I was just like, that makes so much sense, because then after they spent all that energy teasing the comic, they get scooped up by an animation studio, and then now their whole creation, their whole creative energy is absorbed into the studio, and now we can't see what they originally would have come up with. And that's why, if you're a webcomic artist, and that's why as a comic artist myself, I had to uh 100% focus on trying to make my webcomic as fast as I could, so that I could put it out there before I got scooped up by some studio or whatever, and just lost my individual identity to a studio. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever, but if you're trying to create your own work, then create your own work. Don't wait. Let me see what is up with Bloodness X. He says, and what's up? He says, let me show. The ones I follow, they say my comic comes out this date. Then when the date comes, they will be gone forever, or keep doing the same old fan arts. Damn. Yeah, that's how it is sometimes, man. There's no real dedication, and you wonder why Japanese don't take Western never serious. It's not that they, well, they might not take us serious, but let me see what else. There's no real dedication. Oh, that was just a repeat. Okay. And hey, what's up, Ichthus? How you doing, man? How you doing? We're just talking about webcomics and what is a webcomic, what I'm doing, like, and what I've experienced, like my favorite webcomics from the past. Because before webtoons, there was webcomics in the traditional sense, where you would just, after work, you would just draw pages and post your webcomic online, and that would be your webcomic. You would just keep posting until you would build a buffer. If you're serious about it, you build a buffer of pages, and then start posting them online, and eventually make a little small business out of your creation. But that takes many years, and a lot of years without actually making money from the creation of the webcomic. So that's why a lot of people don't go down that road, because it's super difficult. And if you don't already have like a job or some type of money source coming from something else, then it's hard to keep up. But I was so thankful for the webcomics that I did read. In fact, I'll show you a few like of my favorites. Sorry about that, from the past. Jeez. That I really enjoyed. So yeah, eventually I will get to the goals of what I want to create this for 2026, because there's so many. I mean, there's not really that many ideas that I have besides just getting Saintly done, then just speeding up the production on those pages, because that's really what it takes to make it in webcomics. Like, making webcomics, you have to, what matters the most is, what the hell? No. Okay, let me go back, because okay, see, it's saved in my I guess search history or cookies or whatever. This is one of the top webcomics from the time before Webtoons, when Webtoons was still in its infancy, or like just before Webtoons even came out in America. this was one of the top tier webcomics that would draw readers every single page. Like you would have several hundred comments on each page, and it would just be insane. Like, how is this even possible? Um, Let me just show you what I'm talking about. If I go to any random page, let me see. 2013. Dang. I think that was maybe right. Oh, I skipped to the end. That was 560 pages. Wow. Only 560 pages. I thought it would be a lot more. I thought it was like up to 1,000. But yeah, let me go back. Uh and this is their art near the end. Um Monday updates, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's a serious update schedule where most people only update when they have time. And if you're going really hard, you're doing 3 pages per week. But she was going super hard, doing 4 pages per week. And I swear to God, there was a time where she was doing um 5 pages per week, one for every day, for every weekday. And I was just like, that is insane. She is a mad woman. Um, so yeah, let me just go to one random page in the middle of the comic and look at the art on this. Like it's actually beautiful. Like this is amazing. Um, like look at it. How do you even color like that and then still produce on such a high level, like high schedule? Like she has to be making money in some way that allows her to, sorry, uh continue producing the comic on a weekly basis. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works in Finland, but look at this. 494 comments. Like this is like a TV show that people are tuning in every week just to see what happens next in the story, and they're just talking like to the creator, they're talking amongst each other, they're theorizing, figuring stuff out. And she has like her stuff is up on Hiveworks, which it used to be like maybe it still is like if you if you get on Hiveworks, like, oh, you're set for life. And not really, but it's just like that's where you wanted to get on, so so more people would know about your comics. And I think maybe you had to pay to be on there. I don't know. But yeah, and she has that whole thing. It's official, and then art live streams. I don't even know if she still does that, but um like the store, books, prints, all that stuff. Just January 2015, literally over a decade ago now. Over a decade ago, 11 years ago. That's crazy. And I wonder where she's at now. Um, that's why I do wonder about some of these webcomic creators because this is a standalone website. It's not okay. So she has her personal art website. Um, oh, whoops. Let me go here. Yeah, it says, "Damn, the art looks like a screenshot for an animated film, dude." Yeah, exactly. Like it looks awesome. It's just so good. And they were just doing this all on their own with the time that they had. So that's one of the comics that made me believe, like, dang, okay, like this is something I can do if I just push hard enough. I can carve out enough time to create a webcomic that's really high level in terms of art and storytelling and whatnot. And then I end up making something like this. And it's just sort of okay. It's all right. Like it's not the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's pretty good, I think. One day it'll get better, but it's just I love looking at it. Like she figured out her style, and it's just beautiful. So um yeah, that was one of those webcomics. I didn't actually read it, but it was just one of those ones that I respected from the bottom of my heart because I was just like, this person is doing it for real. Like they're really doing it, and they're doing the whole thing: coloring, drawing, art, writing, all of it. and making a living from it. So yeah, I was like, if she can do it, so can I. I can do it. Let's make this happen. And I wonder if she still does the YouTube channel or if it's somewhere I can look at. We won't worry about that right now. But okay, the art YouTube. Nice. I wonder if it's still there. Dang it. It's gonna be that guy that says, not today, buddy. Yep, no way, Jose. I have YouTube blocked by myself, so I can't experience it. So I always put it on an incognito tab. Let's see. Sick. Yep, 68 videos. She hasn't done it for a while. But in one of these videos, she was talking about how artists create um, comics, or they create art and don't actually end up doing the full comic because they pretty much let out all the energy of making the comic, making the story, by just doing little snippets instead. So that was that helped me avoid one of the biggest traps of making a webcomic, which is instead of making a narrative, making a story, uh, posting online in little driblets instead. So that was Stand Still, Stay Silent, one of my favorite webcomics from the past. And then I'm going to go to one of my even more favorite webcomics. Actually, let me go to Boxer Hockey just to show you what that was like, because that one was a fun little comic. And I'll show you how it started to how it ended. So this is like, it's not an actively updating webcomic. That's the part that made me sad. I was just like, let me read this, and he just says like how I'm working on jobs I dreamed of. He's in like animation or whatever, or storyboarding. And I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, fuck. You know how the meme goes. Um, but yeah, if we go to the archive, and that's one of my favorite buttons on a webcomic site, is just go to the archive, and then we just go back to when the comic first started, and just look at it and just be like, what the hell is this? Like, this person came up with a completely unique idea, and then later on they just keep developing the idea, and it becomes more fun, it becomes more funny. This is more his later art style. That's not representative of chapter one. So let me click so we go to the next page where the story actually starts. Next. Hit next. Oh my god. Next, so we can get to the start of the comic, please. Okay, so yeah, this is the start of the comic. This is how his art style started off, and it's not bad. It's like, it's pretty fun. It says, "Fah!" Man, my voice is out. It's fucked up. So yeah. Um, he says, "Don't be too hard on yourself. It's your art journey. If you look at volume one for Bleach until the end, you see the growth in the artist style, how they break down their panels." Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's one of the things about webcomics, is that you can always see the growth and progression of the comic artist, because they're just sticking at it for a long time, and until they get to their later years of making the webcomic, and then they get like so much better. So yeah, that's just what I'm going to be doing here as well. And yeah, yeah. I love that sound effect, man. Anytime I hear it, it's just hilarious. I'm excited for Made to Skate. I know Volume One is out. I've been seeing like little commercials of Made to Skate online. I'm just like, Made to Skate, is that even gonna be good? Like, but that's the thing I wonder about every single webcomic that has like a new idea, that they're just like mashing two things together, and I'm just like, okay, let's see if this turns out to be good, because okay, we got a maid that's skating. That's kind of cool. Like, that's its own thing. But then like, what's the story gonna be about? I wonder what that is gonna be about. Is it gonna be like, it might just be a slice of life story, and it's just her skating around and doing stuff, but it looks like it's gonna be fun. Um, and then Koji Plus. Hey, what's up, Koji Plus? Um, He asked, "How old are the two main protagonists in Saintly?" They're 20. They're 20 years old, so they can't even drink yet. But I don't know. I don't know if they're 21 or 20. I think it would be better to make them 20, just because they're the same age as my two favorite protagonists from one of my favorite web comics or comics manga ever, Nana. So I think I'll make them both 20 uh, in honor of that. So yeah, and yeah, that's how old they are. Um, so then we have boxer hockey. And then we go to like that's the first page, and you can tell he just started um figuring out like how to color digitally and all that. And then you go to the next page, and he already has like a sense of humor with how he's drawing or like what he's the strip that he's making. Like you can already tell like he has a sense of humor here. He's like, "What are you watching?" He says, "A tape." And he says, "Man, are you watching that anime crap again?" Why does everyone in these things always have big eyes and spiky hair? And the stories make no sense. A teenage girl fighting a bunch of tentacles. Those tentacles aren't even fighting back. They're just picking her up, and it's just like he pauses, and then he watches the thing. See, like he already had a sense of timing and comedy in his in just this one strip. Like that's what webcomics or that's what comics is about. Like especially webcomics, because it's not necessarily about having the most hype moments or the most amazing thing happening. It's just about telling a story in a few panels. Most webcomics are strips, like comic strips. Um, but every once in a while, you'll have a narrative comic like State Island that we just looked at recently. And let me say hi to Paul. Paul P. It kind of looks like it's saying pulp or something. But he says, I am working on a web comic on comic theory based on my character Solar Cell. Dope. That actually sounds like a really cool name, man. Um, and welcome to the stream, man. Happy New Year's. And yeah, that sounds like a really cool name for I guess like a superhero, but even if it's not a superhero, that's just a cool name. Um and Comics Fury goes way, way, way back, man. That is old school, man. Like, let's go to Comic Fury for a sec. I just completely stopped working on my friggin' Saintly right now because I'm just kind of caught in this web comic wormhole that I just started talking about. Comic Fury web comic hosting. This is old school, man. Like way, way old school. Like this is I don't know. I haven't posted anything on here, but I remember reading at least a couple things here and there. Like this looks like this stands out because it's actually high quality. It stands out because it's high quality, man. Like most things on Comic Fury are it's a great place for like true amateurs to post their web comics, especially when they don't know what they're doing and they don't want to be judged by the social media algorithm because that thing is harsh. Like you'll feel like you're trash just for posting on social media in a sea of amazing scions who are just these amazing, awesome artists, and you're just like, man, my art is trash. But if you post on Comic Fury, it's like that's the level that everyone else is posting at, and you're not expected to have the most amazing art, the most amazing stuff to look at. It's like you're allowed to post whatever. This actually looks really interesting, and that's why I clicked on it. Like the art style is kind of weird looking, a little bit uncanny, but you can tell this guy is like this is just their style and that's how they want to draw. But it's not what would necessarily play well on social media the way that people what consume stuff on social media. That's the beauty of a site like Comics Fury or maybe like Drunk Duck. Um, or what else? Like I forget what else there that we had in the past, but I think I'll remember if if I look back at it. There was this one that I never read, but I would always see, um, because it was by the same creators as the creators of Dragon Ball Multiverse. Multiverse. Yep. Uh, so I would just be like, oh, this is like what they created before they created Multiverse. Sorry, there's like a mosquito. I don't like those things in here. Um, yeah, this is what they made before Multiverse, and now we get to see that. This last post was in 2011. That's crazy, bro. Um, but yeah, let's read the comments here. Uh, hey Yoshi, what's up? How you doing, man? He says W Comics Fury. Yep, yep, for sure, man. I think is your thing on there? Let me check really quick. In another. No, that's on a different website. Or maybe it is Comics Fury, but yeah, it's just hosted by Comics Fury. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, dope. Uh Says, yeah, Solar Cell is a superhero who can absorb light and convert it into any form of energy he wants. Yeah, that sounds like a awesome concept. I want to see how that plays out, dude. Um, let's see. Ictus, he says, Made to Skate has fun wordplay, more likely slice of life. Most maids, they have to be presentable and meet high standards, whereas in skate culture is about freedom and rebellion and self-expression. Yeah, so it's like a mixture of two things that are like opposites. So I think that's where a lot of that appeal lies. Um, but yeah, maybe it'll be fun. Okay. So yeah, boxer hockey, like you can already see this guy has an understanding of jokes, like how to tell a joke and make it funny. Like he has the sense of timing as well. And then we get the third one is like, hey guys, sup gay Chuck? Hey gay Chuck. Stop calling me that. I'm not gay and my name isn't Chuck. It's Charlie. Hey gay Charlie. Forget it. Guys, you know we leave for the Tokyo Bowl in less than a week. We should be getting ready or something. We are getting ready. This tape is all in Japanese. We're studying our opponent's culture. Wait, is this a cartoon? What's going on? Like, why is that little sailor girl tied up and what are all those tentacles do? And then he sits and watches too. It's just like little things like that is part of the medium of web comics that that's something that web comics has that you don't see it entirely in manga, you don't see entirely in webtoons. Like it's just something you would see right here right now because of this creator making something. And so then if we go to the archive and check out how his art progressed to like the latest point, let's go to one of the latest comics that appeared. It's like they're playing the game boxer hockey, and it's just like, bro, where did you get this sense of cinematics, dude? What the hell is this? This is like his art level up times 100,000, man. Like, look at that. There's cinematics, there's like depth of field, there's angles, different angles being used, different like colors. Like you can tell it's a rainy day. This is awesome to look at. And then you just get this like emotional acting. You get like this guy's fully realized style. This is the main character that we were seeing from the beginning of the comic. And it's just like, yo, this guy leveled up completely from the beginning. So yeah, I have no doubt that one day I'll level up as well. It's just like it's so awesome to see with webcomics and how they progress as long as the person keeps sticking to it. And I think people had more patience for it back in the day. Like they had more patience to ride it out as opposed to trying to make money right away or quitting when things get hard. Like this is hundreds of pages of this guy making this comic steadily over a period of months and years, and from 2011 it appears. Well, I guess he posted it all in the same year, but the actual comic itself didn't come out all in the same year. And then I think I'll check out two last ones just because I need to work, and then we'll be here all day if I just check out all my favorite old web comics because there's so much. He said, "Oh shit, definitely internet culture." Yep, yep, absolutely, man. Um, so one of my top favorite webcomics from back in the day is called Quest. Yep. Ow. And Smack Jeeves. Yep. Smack Jeeves was the other classic site that everyone would post to and try to get their comic on. Let me blow my nose. One sec. Okay. Hopefully I feel better now. But this one was discontinued a while ago, so I have to find where I found it recently because that helped me. Okay. It's by this guy named Jeremy. He goes by Jeremy with several Y's online. And he makes all these like little animations and it's hilarious. But let me see. Okay, let's see if it's here. This might be a different webcomic. That's not the one we're looking for. Hopefully it's not. Come on. Oh no, it is. It is. Okay, dope. Nice. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. So yeah, this comic is hilarious. It's on the level of hilarity of SpongeBob. Like it's that good. Like it's that funny. And I'm just like, some guy made this for free for fun, like with his friend, I think. And it's not even some guy, it's Terminal Montage. He became a name on social media through making like parodies of different like games and cartoons and stuff. But it all started here with this webcomic. And to have the dedication at like I don't even know what age to put out something that is funny, tells a story, tells a strong story, and it's just interesting enough to keep going. Like it never dropped my interest from the time it started to the time it ended, and it never really ended. It didn't end. It was one of those stories that never finished, and I was just like, "Dang, man, I wish it finished." And even if it didn't, even though it didn't finish, it doesn't matter because the story itself was so good that or the comic itself was so good that it could be just an episodic type of thing and it would still be funny, it would still be good. So this is like the first episode, and then it's like episodic but in a progressive way where there's always another episode to be found, or like there's always there's a sense of continuation between the episodes. So even um even if it is a self-contained adventure, it's just it's always continuing. So let me see. Okay, so he posted it. It looks like he posted it here to get people interested in where it was mainly posted. But if we want to read the whole thing, we'd have to go to what's that site called? The web archive. The you know how what it's called? Internet archive. Yep. And this was uh, a a cover that he did Jeremy Chinshu, that's his name. Yep. This was a cover that he did for like the later part of the series after he basically figured out his art style. Is like, oh, cool, this is how I want to draw. I figured out what it is, and yeah, and it's just him and his friend having stupid adventures and writing them down. Like, Jeremy might be the guy in blue. I think he's the guy in blue. Yeah, and then his buddy Jeff is the guy, the square. They call him a square, even though he looks like a marshmallow. But they call him a square. So yeah, Jeff and Jeremy. Yep, and it's basically like SpongeBob and Patrick, but they're just as funny. Like it's just a nice, a very nicely told adventure story. It's so funny. It's so great. And I loved reading it. I even did like fan art of it a long time ago. So yeah, that's side quest. And then the last one I wanted to check out is a more recent one, which is just funny. Every time I see it across my feed, it's um it's just hilarious. And I'll see it on Instagram. I'll see it on Twitter. I never actually read it on Webtoon, but I'll just see it across my feed every once in a while, and it's just funny to look at because of the elf. Like the elf is so stupid. It's like it's like she's she's a little racist, dude. She's a racist and a bigot, and all the kind of nasty words that you would associate with racism and stuff. And it's hilarious because she always gets her comeuppance and never and makes all these like funny faces whenever something stupid happens. So it's like he's like, time for a shave, and she's looking, and she's just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be hilarious. And then she's like, what do you expect to find under that ticket? A chin? Kya, whatever. And she slaps her D, and then it's like, oh, he's handsome. Oh no. And then she makes a stupid face. Like that's the whole comic, but it's hilarious every time because it's just like look at her face. Like it's just that's the joke. Like you don't need to be uh you don't need to be overly complicated with a web comic. You can just make a stupid joke, and that can be the whole comic. Like if he does it, if this guy does this for the next 10, 15 years until he gets tired, like people will eat it up. I will eat it up as long as he like finds a way to advance. He doesn't have to advance the story, but finds a way to advance the dynamic over time. Right now, it's like still at the it's blown up. Like it's at that blown up phase where it's hilarious. Everybody sees it online, and it's great. And it's on social media. It's just always getting likes and whatnot. But it's like beauty, fame, wealth. I have everything. What do you have, smelly peasant? Nothing. And he's like, well, I got the stick. And she makes a dumb face. And she's like, I want that stick. Like it's just it's, it's so stupid, man. Like it's just hilarious. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like that's the thing about finding your art style, uh finding exactly what it is you're trying to convey. Uh Yoshi's Rhoda says, yes, this racist elf one is great. Yeah, it's so funny. He said, love the slapstick. Yeah, yeah, it's that's just what it is. It's like, um, what is it? Just you find quote unquote like gimmick, and you don't even have to be like, don't be ashamed of it or whatever. Like you find a thing that clicks with an audience, and you just keep doing that. You don't have to change it. You don't have to do anything else. Just keep doing that. If it clicks with the audience, just do that and make it for as long as you can because that's going to be your moneymaker. Eventually, you'll make enough comics to where you'll make enough bad comics to where you finally figure out one thing that you um that has all the elements, all the IP elements that make somebody like it, and then you're like, boom, I got it. And that's what that's what this is. That's what Dragon Ball Z is like. Who knew that a character with a tail meets some girl who has a lot of technology, and they go search for some magical wishing balls, and magical dragon comes out. Who knew that all that put together and martial arts would turn into a multi-billion-dollar franchise? Nobody knew, but it takes somebody who's been making comics and tapping into what people like to create enough things until they finally create something that clicks, and then people are like, yeah, this is it. And that's what this little comic is. He's like, what was I thinking, bringing you along with on a peace meeting with the centaurs? And she says, so why are they having a barbecue all of a sudden? Because you called their elder chieftain a king horse arse don von dingleberry. Well, someone had to. And that's that, like, she's racist, and that's why they're getting burned at the stake. Her mom is, I don't know if her mom is like racist or not, but she's just so out and out about it that every, like, she always gets her comeuppance, and that's the joke. If she didn't get her comeuppance, then it would be weird. Like, it would be like, why is she getting away with this? But that's the joke. It's simply called Elf Comic. And the thing is, I've seen that this creator makes other comics. Why is nobody paying for the Patreon? What the hell? You got 1,097 patrons and $0? That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna check that out and investigate because that doesn't make any sense. Um, Marivius, Marivius. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think they have a different other comic, and it's just not as popular because it just doesn't have the elf. It doesn't have it doesn't have that type of humor. If we go to Marivis, the account, I know there's another comic that they made. Yep. So they have Future Wife and Arlok the Atrocious. But the one that blows up is the one with, well, basically the girl. Like, it's the one with the funny elf. So yeah, there's this. Like, this is when they're still figuring out their style, figuring out what they want to convey, and figuring out like what they want to draw. They make a few of that. Um, and then they try something else, and they make more of this, and they're like, okay, I'm still working, I'm still trying to figure things out, they're drawing, they're getting better at drawing, and they're getting better at telling jokes. And um then they make elf comic. They make something, it seems to be almost like Arlok the Atrocious. The words might be like, okay, it's trying too hard, or it's like it's too many words, it's hard to remember. But then you have something simple, elf comic. Okay, well, what's this stupid thing about? She looks kind of dumb. Let's see what this is about. And then you just look at it and you're like, okay, what's this comic about? And they're like, so this is my human Rick, and that's my human Shack, where I do human stuff. And then you see the elf. She's getting up to some mischief, like just looking at him, like ready to clown him for whatever he's doing, just being alive. And then he's like, mortals do come up with the most wonderful things. You deserve a reward. Good job, good job. And then they're just patting him. And then she slaps him. And then they all beating her down. They're just like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? And he's like, please excuse us. So yeah, she's just so stupidly like, she's messing with him, but it's also, you can also read into it that she secretly likes him or whatever. And people like will ship them together or whatever. Like, it's simple slapstick, and it takes a while before you can simplify your work down to what actually makes people want to buy. So um Victor says it's likely his Patreon is free to subscribe. And yeah, I see a lot of Patreons that are free to subscribe, but there's got to be at least somebody paying something to, like, uh if we go to Marivis and then check the about, That will show if there's anybody actually paying, because you could have 1,000 members, but there has to be something behind a paywall. Okay, there we go. We have 114 paid members. So that is 10%. And that's about what you would expect. Like 10% of the actual audience that's on Patreon is actually paying for it. So um, that is about what you would expect. Let me turn that off. And oh, thank God, everyone can see what I'm doing. Good. I thought it wasn't showing or anything. So, yeah, 1,000 or 114 paid members. And then if we look at the membership options, there's only one membership option. So we can literally just figure out how much he's getting paid per month to do this comic, and that is 300 and let's see, that's 114 members. So 14 times 3, that is 42. And then he's getting paid $342 every month to do this comic, and that is pretty decent because the comic I don't think has been out that long, and he can definitely find some other avenues to to make this comic more famous and more, I guess, profitable and whatnot. Um, because it already works as an IP. Oh, this is like the latest comic. So this is why you have so many free members, because he's just posting the comics he already posts online for free on the Patreon, and then he has a few things behind um, a paywall. So if he wanted to upgrade his or increase the amount of people paying for his stuff, he would just, I don't know, he would just do some things to work his funnel more. That's all business talk. But I want to see this new elf comic because I missed this one earlier. Hello everybody, guess who? It's me. Oh boy, it's the jolliest time of year. Jolly, jolly, jolly Joe. Bark. Then they bury him. Huh? Wait, didn't you just die? So they thought, so the human thought that was the elf, because this was just a random elf that was doing like the same weird faces, and then he gets killed. But yeah, that's hilarious, man. Like, it's just funny, man. So yeah, that's a an example of a recent webcomic that has blown up in the age where basically webtoons is dominating story-based webcomics, because they are able to put out a massive amount of content every single week. Like this chapter of Saintly that I'm working on right now has taken me months. Let me see, months to produce. If I had to do this on a weekly basis, um, or even a monthly basis, I would need a team to help me out and back me up on that, because it is a lot. It's a massive amount of work just to even do um, a certain amount. So yeah, um, that is the thing about webcomics. Like, okay, let me see. I don't know if that shadow should be like that. I think what I'm going to do is erase it. And basically all these shadows are doing is adding information to define the form and the color of what things are supposed to be. Let's see. Yeah, that line should be there because she's being lit from the window. There we go. basically, I'm just using my knowledge of the human form to inform what I'm coloring here. I could look at a face of how to like actually do it, but I've drawn so many faces with shadow before that I just kind of already know where the shadows are supposed to fall on a face that's being lit from a certain angle. So I can just sort of do it. Um, and then what I want to do is shadow the hands now. So I'm going to make this brush bigger because this is insane. Make this brush bigger and just have it, yeah, just shadow it like this. There we go. And you want to make pretty little shadows, and it can be whatever you want it to be. Yep. And this will turn into ASMR, and we'll have a nice little time drawing all these comics and making saintly a little bit of horror for you horror lover folks out there. And yeah, it's gonna be a little fun one for you. So, you know, I'm not trying to. I was trying to do like a little the Bob Ross voice, but yeah. Let me see. Just make sure we have shadows in the right places here. Is there anything that I want to talk about right now? Uh, If this says more like, let me see. If this says more like sexy time AR. Fuck no, man. We're good on that, bro. Let me take these off. All right. But yeah, that's what I figured out. I'm a webcomic artist, and that's what I need to do. And in fact, one of the things that really helped me kind of seal this in was talking to AI recently. So AI can almost be like a person or a springboard for your ideas when you talk to it. Like ChatGPT, if you ask it the right questions in the right way, or prompt it specifically with a very specific prompt, it'll give you answers that you're just like, yo, that is very interesting. I never thought of things like that. Because it's basically an accumulation of all human knowledge in existence. So if you talk to it, it's almost like you're talking to a buddy or a friend or whatever. Um, Not to be confused with an actual buddy, but it'll give you a nice amalgamation of all the best advice or all the most generic mediocre advice if you prompt it in certain ways. Um, you have to be very specific with what you want from it so it can give you uh, something that you want to, something that you can actually learn from. So when I asked it about what my goal should be in making my comics and whatnot, it was saying like, whoops, it was saying, yeah, you want your comics to be uh, sellable. You want them to be good. Let me turn this on. You want them, you want to think of your comic not as the final end product that you're trying to sell. You want to think of your comic as the comic is the launch pad for other things rather than being the thing itself. Meaning, is this thing full opacity? Uh, so if I take that color, raise it up a little bit. that's not the color of a human fingernail. I want to go. No. This would be a time where. Okay, that's actually pretty good. This would be a time where reference would be nice to use. But I'm just going to guesstimate for speed right now. But it was telling me that what you want to focus on as a comic creator is not trying to make a sale right away, not trying to be a uh, illustrator, but you want to focus on creating as much story as possible. Like you want to focus on just making more and more of the story, because what people care about with comics is that they have something that they can invest in. They have a story that they believe the person will come back every week to consistently post about it. Let me go ahead and make myself smaller so that y'all can see the art better. Yeah, they want a creator to come back every week so that they know and understand that, okay, there we go, that we have a creator who's coming back every week, and so it's safe to invest in the story. You want to create that level of safety for your readers to believe like, oh, this person is making a story and they're going to be back, so I can trust that they'll keep creating and posting their webcomic, and because I want to see it, I want to see where the story goes. So it's less about focusing on making fantastic art, because you already saw with the example of boxer hockey and uh, side quest that they didn't have the most amazing art ever. They just had same with Elf comic, like they just had uh, uh, like great humor, a nice sense of storytelling. They could write, and they just kept posting. They had a bunch of material that they could keep making, and people would be interested in and seeing the like people would be interested in seeing the continuation of. Uh, and then Stand Still Stay Silent was a complete anomaly. Like that's completely different, where it's like it's a story first comic, but the art is so good um, that it's like that it stands on its own. Like you want to see not only the art improve, but you want to see the story as well. And you saw the engagement that it had. Like it was getting, I don't know how many people engaging with it. Every 400 comments, every single page, just like clockwork. And they weren't paying bots to fucking comment on their comic. They weren't getting people, hey, please comment on the comic if you like it. People were commenting on it like it was a YouTube channel, man. Because they were just that engaged in it. Because the person kept coming back, they kept coming back consistently, and they kept posting consistently. So that's what made it into a strong webcomic, because the person was like the creator, Mina Sundberg, was just like, as long as I keep coming back and posting consistently, people will continue to read. That's the one thing that really matters with webcomics is once you start, you cannot stop. And that's the thing with that's the thing with me making Saintly right now is it's not even out yet. I haven't released it. It's still on my it's still on my email list, and it's for all my email list subscribers, but it's not ready to go out to the world yet. So I haven't posted to the world. It's um what I'm doing right now is I'm creating the pages and I'm creating the buffer so that when I do post it out to the world, I can keep going with the story until it's finished, until it's over. And then people can judge it based on the story as a whole, because nobody cares in comics, nobody really cares about the individual drawings. Like, you don't have to worry about making every single drawing hit or make it really good. They care more about is the sense of the world consistent? Is it believable that they're in a world or a situation or where they're at? Is the comic coming out consistently enough to where I can get invested in the characters, invested in their lives, invested in what's happening? Um, and can I count on it to keep going? That's one of those important things about making a webcomic. It's a different thing than just being a good illustrator online, which is something I want to be because I want to be able to create that type of work that I love. But making a webcomic is a different matter. It's like you just have to make something that people feel safe investing into their time and energy and emotional energy. And then once you have a good rhythm of making the comic and putting it out on a consistent basis, then you can build trust with your readership and expand out to do more stuff like licensing and whatnot. That's how creators like uh, the Common America guys do their stuff. Like, that's how they're able to get all that stuff out there and make it worth reading, because they just consistently put it out on a nice time frame to where people are like, yeah, I can invest in the story. And I like, people talk about the story, they don't talk about the marketing about Common America. They're talking about the story, and they're talking about like, oh, Carly is getting involved in this, or she's doing that. I wonder how she feels when this happens, or like, they're getting involved in it. And that's how I've designed Saintly as well, where the characters are going to be people that you really care about and get involved in who they are, what they're up to, what their emotional problems are, and that kind of stuff, while giving you like action and stuff to keep you invested in what the heck is happening to these girls who are getting involved in some like demonic stuff. Like, this is insane. I even asked AI, like, is there any friggin' comic that's like Saintly that has been posted online, where not even just posted online, but like where you have two girls who are getting involved in supernatural stuff, and there's nothing. Like, there's really nothing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Did I just stumble onto like some kind of random untapped market? Like, well, it's not even untapped, but like, I stumbled into something where it used to be like the domain of, let's say, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, um, where you have like maybe one girl who is super magical, and then you have her magical friends and whatnot. But you never had like a little duo of girls in anime or manga where they were doing some like supernatural hijinks or getting into like ghosts and demons and stuff. There actually was a comic recently called Exorcisters. Um, and I was looking at that comic to see if, okay, is this something like what I'm doing, to where uh, not necessarily would it be competition, but more like, is it something to where I can understand it on some level or see if there is people who would be interested in something like Saintly. That's why I say always like it's a demon chase horror action comedy, or why I say like that it's a combination of Scooby Doo and the K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. I think I might change that soon to it's like it's like Scooby Doo meets Dandadan, even though I don't really like Dandadan, because Dandadan is a closer match to what my audience likes, but also has less K-pop connotations associated with it. So I'm gonna try making an ad like that or making that change to my ad to see if more people check out Saintly just based on that, and we'll see. Uh, because it has a lot of chases like Dandadan has, and or it will have a lot of chases like that. It's right now it's just kicking off and getting started, but yeah, that's it's just going to be one of those things that I'll tweak and figure out as time goes on. But people are signing up to the list, to the email list, and reading it, checking it out. So I'm really grateful for all of you who are on the list right now. And please go ahead and sign up. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I have to actually start saying that in my videos so that people subscribe more often. And people have been subscribing without me having to say it, but I think maybe if I just say it more often, then people will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not subscribing. I'm just watching these videos without subscribing." So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that a little bit more as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really much else to say, but I'm just like working. Not every stream has to be like 2 hours. Sometimes if I'm on a roll of really talking about something, then I'll make it go for 2 hours. But um, yeah, this might be one of those ones that ends early. I'm trying to think like, what else do I have in mind? I am not done with this page, but I just wanted to lay in the shadows. I think what I want to do is just open up page 2 so we can take a look at it. Pages to letter, pages to finish. And then there we go, page 2. And now we have page 2 opened up. I'm gonna make sure that is working. And then, whoops, that is the flats layer. So I have an auto action set on my thing so that whatever action I choose, I can just start going from there. And then what I'll do is I'll set the shadow to a certain amount. I kind of want to jump the gun and put the shines on her stocking already. So I want to go to, I wonder if it will be a light overlay. I like the look of that. Or will it be highlights? I don't like the look of that. I go to reflected light. I like the look of that, but I think it's overlay as well, so it's the same thing. So I'll just put it on the light layer. So yeah, she has like stockings. But I think it's more important to put the, let me see if it's gonna, okay. I think it's more important to put the light or the shadow down first and then worry about where the light is gonna go. here's what I want to do. I want to erase that light, but I don't want to lose that information. So I'm gonna turn off that. I'm gonna turn off the light layer. I'll just keep both, or maybe I'll just keep it off for now, and then I'll render in the shadows. And I'm not gonna do super heavy rendering on every page, but you want to make sure on the first pages that you're doing that it's all looking like interesting, at the very least, like impressive, interesting. Like I want to invest in this story, but people aren't really looking at your images, believe it or not. When they first read a webcomic, they're just looking for story information. That's their first thing that they're looking for, is story information. They don't really give a rip about your art style or your art skills. That might get them in the door, but your story is what really holds their attention, or your concept, like the concept of a racist elf who is always making fun of this human character, and maybe there's some sexual tension in there somewhere. Uh, that's a concept that people can get behind for some reason or another, and just it blew up. Uh, and so this is a concept that uh, if I carry it to completion, if I can find the time to carry it to completion, then this concept can also blow up and turn into something that people really like. But I have to push to make sure that I'm actually drawing it all the way. So, as much as I want to get really fucking good at drawing, like that's all I really care about. Like I really do want to get good at drawing. I put all my art skill points into writing. I put most of my skill points into writing, and so I want to. Why did I change that color? Um, uh, I want this to have more of a taper at the end of it. Maybe that mapping pen will do better. Yeah, nice. That's what I want, and it's anti-aliased. Good. Um, I want to get really good. I want to draw in the style that I've always admired. But making a story and making art are two different things. Like if you're making a story like this, uh, Saintly, then you just have to focus on making the story good, making it something that people can invest in, making it, making a lot of it, so that people can keep coming back, and making on a consistent basis, so that it can actually develop a fan base. Because right now, all I'm doing right now is just developing the comic itself. Like it's not um, done. It's still in the beginning stages of getting fans, being promoted, and all that kind of stuff. But I have to actually finish the comic, and once the comic is finished, that can become like my calling card in the comic industry, whereas like where people are like, "Oh, you're the one who did that comic called Saintly. I really love that comic. I was reading that just a week ago or whatever, and I finally got through with it, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I want to see more from this guy. And now that I see in the flesh, like, oh, cool, like that becomes your what everybody knows you by. Once you finish a comic, like finishing is probably the most euphoric feeling that you can feel, and probably the most emptying feeling, because you finished the comic. And Saintly is a graphic novel. If it doesn't take off, there will be no more of Saintly. But if it does take off, then I basically have to write it to the fucking bank. Keep making the comic until it just becomes boring. Like people don't want to read it anymore, and I can't. I'm not capable of making a boring story. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I won't drive it into the ground or anything. What I'll probably do is keep going until it has a natural conclusion, because I already, even right now, just making the first chapter, I already know everything about the other characters, and I know where I could take the story after the events of chapter one. I know how I can where I can go with the story before the events of chapter one. I know where I can go with the story. I know it backwards and forwards. Um, all the events and all the major events in all the characters' lives, and what led them to be where they are at, and how they became who they are, all that kind of stuff. I know them. So if I wanted to do spin-off stories, I could do that. If I wanted to do a what do you call it? A prequel, I could do that. Any sequel I want to do, I could do that. If I wanted to put Air Rider in it, I could do that. Like, I know it backwards and forwards. So if it turns into something more than it currently is, then I'm ready to take it all the way. But what we're doing right now is just making a graphic novel. We're making a one and done story, and we're gonna finish it, and that'll be that. It's just, it doesn't need to be deeper than that. It doesn't need to go any further than that. And we're just gonna have fun making this one story, and then turning it into something that people would want to keep reading over and over again. And I want to make it so that people want to beg me for more. And there's ways to do that. I'm gonna try to figure out how to use AI to help me like edit, figure out things that I can't do on my own, or figure out, like, okay, like use it to bounce off ideas from, so that I can enhance the story. Like, there's a way to prompt it to act as if it was your Shonen Jump editor, and you can give it your pages and tell them, like, okay, rip me to shreds and have no mercy. Act as if you are an editor for the highest selling um, manga company in Japan. In English, what would you tell me is the best thing about this page, or the worst thing about this page? Give me specific, detailed feedback on how I can improve it, and like, make it better moving forward. And then it'll be like, okay, you asked for it, and it'll start telling you everything that's trash about your comic. It'll tell you everything that's good about the page, and then it'll suggest things that you can do to improve, and give you ideas for what you can do to make it better. And you'll be like, ouch, that hurt my feelings, actually. But then you'll get better just based on what it's saying. And then if you have a writing group like I do with actual people and stuff, and they're telling you things that even the AI didn't think about, then now it's a wrap. Like, you're gonna have an even higher quality story, because you have people who are behind you. You can even put your own artistic or aesthetic sensibilities in the AI. Tell it, like, okay, this is what I like to focus on in my artwork, in my comics, and I need you to make sure that I adhere to these themes in my story, and let me know when I'm drifting away from them, so that I don't lose sight of what I am creating. And then you can get feedback and assistance from the AI. And it doesn't, like, you're not using it to create anything for you. You're just using it to help enhance the work that you're already doing. And I'm gonna have a big ass, long ass video about that coming up pretty soon, because I made a long video that about AI, and about what the future holds for creators who embrace it, and creators who shun it, and creators who only use AI to create, rather than using it to enhance, because those like the AI bros who make make things with AI, they're not doing it right. So I'm gonna have a video that goes over the distinctions between how it can be used to assist you, not take your creativity away from you. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I like how this came out. I'm gonna do more on this, make sure it looks even better. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm glad you guys came by to hang out with me on New Year's. Last night I just hung around and uh, walked around my town to check out the New Year's fireworks and stuff. I saw a few in my neighborhood and was just enjoying it. So yeah, and then my goals for this year is just make more pages of Saintly, get a job that pays me enough that I can pay off my debt and then not have to drive around all the time and stay away from the drawing table. And then three, I'm just gonna um I don't know, keep going with my YouTube channel. I even have to make a YouTube video right now after I get off this video so that I can post up and um and just continue with making videos every single day. I don't know when I'll actually reach my goal of becoming a full-time artist, but it's not hard to make a video every single day anymore because I can speak. I'm getting a little bit better at speaking off the cuff. I'm getting better at editing a little bit here and there. I have a good editing software that I can use on my phone, and I can make videos quickly. So that is, all of that combines to help me make things a lot better. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the channel. Thanks for helping me get to monetization, and I'm gonna keep creating comics and making more stuff in the new year that hopefully you'll enjoy. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Good night, y'all.